Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rochelle, and today we are going to be trying to put all of these books into my lovely bookshelves. We got 3 of the Billy bookcases that are very popular here on BookTube. I decided to go with those since they seem to be very affordable, and also a lot of people really rave about how sturdy they are. So I was like, you know what? Let's go and invest in these. So we got those. I have some of my books here stacked on the floor with me, and then I have a lot of them behind the camera on another one of my bookshelves. So what I'm going to try to do is try to figure out the organization I'd like to have. I'd like to ideally go and categorize the books based off of, you know, BIPOC authors, and then some of my thriller and horror books, but also in some ways I also want to color code the covers together too. So we'll see how they go. I think what I'm going to try to do is maybe put the books in certain stacks and organize them together for the most part, and then try to put them up on the shelves. I'm also dealing with not as much sunlight right now. I think it's around 4 in the afternoon, so give or take, I'm going to have around an hour of sunlight, and then I either need to figure out if I'm going to postpone the rest of this or pull out my ring light and try to film the rest of it that way. I think I might, just because I don't really want to leave the project half done, half completed. So yeah, we'll see how this goes, and I will give you a little bit of a library tour after. But yeah, we're gonna make my dream library together. I don't think I said that yet, but that's what we're doing today. So wish me luck. I'm very nervous. Okay, let's put our hair up because we mean business. And also it's really, really toasty, so I need this, otherwise we're gonna look like a swamp rat afterwards. And I also realized I already took all the fuzz and cat hair off of my outfit, and it's already back on there again, so. Right. Hi, Nuggie. Got these stacks of books here to figure out here. And then I still got stacks. There's stacks behind those stacks and all of these here. So here are the bookshelves, the bookcases, and I'm gonna try to figure out how I want them positioned. Okay, here's my current game plan. So I really love getting to like look at my books and look over and see ones that bring me joy, bring me happiness. So I kind of want to have the ones that I'm going to read or have not read yet on these shelves. And I think the top shelf, because I am 5'1.5", I'm very short, I think I'm going to have the books that I've already read, so I don't have to worry about getting on my tiptoes as much to read them. And then what I'm thinking for the bottom shelves, I'm probably going to put my graphic novels and manga. I'm thinking like some of those ones, and then maybe like my middle grade books or my books that are from my childhood that I'm probably not going to pick up and read anytime soon. Something that would be really easy to do right away is put my horse books, these guys, away. Okay, that's a little bit better. So let us see. Right now I'm thinking middle grade books, graphic novels, and then some of my horse books, things like that. And then top shelf is going to be books that I've already read. And if anything, I might just kind of like put them up there now. And I also want representation, so BIPOC and representation. So it is currently 6:26, and I just kind of finished putting the books everywhere. I'm not quite sure if I like how I have them organized, and more than likely I will have to rearrange them again. But I think what I'm gonna do is wait until I have natural lighting, and then I'll give you a tour of the books and how I have them organized, because it's dark. I don't really like using a ring light, and I can kind of show you everything. But one thing's for sure, I thought that I would pretty much fill a lot of these bookshelves, and I didn't. So I'm a little bit surprised by that. I'm not 100% sure if I like how I have them organized, so more than likely I will be switching them around again. But for now, this works. And then a lot of my manga and romance, I guess, I have on my bookshelf that I had over here. So yeah, I think I kind of like that. And like I said, I'll give you a tour in the morning when I actually have natural lighting. Good morning, everyone. Okay, we're gonna go through my bookshelf now that there's natural light. It's no longer dark and you can actually see what is on my bookshelf. So with that being said, let me go and move things around so that we can go and walk through my different shelves together. It does look a little bit weird because there's a lot of empty space, which was not what I expected, but that just means I have room for more books. Yay! All right, so starting from the very top shelf, I am obviously really short and can't fully reach it, but I don't have a lot of the books that I was hoping to have on this shelf right now. It just wasn't filling out completely the way I hoped. As you can see, I have my Bluebird with the books, and then currently I have Lisa Jewell, Invisible Girl, Lisa Jewell, None of This Is True, The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhone, and then My Darling Girl by Jennifer McMahon, and The Drowning Kind by Jennifer McMahon. So originally I had planned on having a lot of the books that I've already read on this top shelf, but then at the same time it really wasn't working because I also wanted to keep certain books together, or if their covers look similar and things like that. So I think this is kind of how I'm gonna have it currently, and then of course it will kind of change as time goes, but right now this is kind of how I have this top shelf here. And I think I'm gonna have like detective-y / books I've finished type of thing continue on to the next shelf, which you will see. All right, so then with this next shelf, it was empty and obviously that felt really weird. So I decided to go and fill it out with some of the other things that I have currently. So I put my tarot book that I actually got from my dad. And then this is the original Rider-Waite tarot deck. So these two are from my dad. And then I have Dear Past, Thank You for the Lessons. This is actually a tarot deck that I got from the TikTok shop. And it's learning tarot cards with keywords, planet, zodiac, chakra, meanings. So I got this just to kind of help me learn as well. If you can't tell, I really do like tarot cards, oracle cards, things like that. I'm still in the process of learning, but I just really enjoy them. And I think it's a lot of fun to kind of pull out a deck of cards depending on what you're feeling, what's called to you, and maybe what position or what the current phase of the moon is. So then I have Lucid Dreams Beginner Tarot with Keywords. It's a tarot deck and guidebook. This apparently is the 3rd edition and I really loved the coloring of it. And then I have Heavenly Bodies Astrology. This is I believe an oracle deck. Then I have the Spirit of Animals Oracle. This one is really pretty. I really enjoyed the photos in this one, so I felt like this one would be a good one to have, especially since I love animals so much. Then I have a self-awareness card deck. I'm not really 100% on those. I was kind of looking for something that was self-positive affirmations and feel-good type of things, but it's not 100% what I was looking for, so that might be a deck that I just re-gift to someone else. And then I have the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell and Danielle Noel. And this one is kind of fun, but I'm kind of indifferent on this one as well. And then two of my favorites would be the Moonology Manifestation Oracle cards by Yasmin Boland, and then the Moonology Oracle cards by Yasmin Boland. I really, really, really love this Moonology deck. It is probably one of my absolute favorites. And then I have Dark Mirror, which is, I believe, like a shadow deck, and that one I probably rarely use because it's one of those that you need to be in a specific mood. And then I have the Elder Scrolls Skyrim tarot deck and guidebook. Charles actually got me that for, I think, a Christmas or my birthday because we both loved Skyrim and that was something we connected on, and one of our cats is also named Cicero. And then I got Spellbook Cards Druid. I play D&D and I really love druids. They are probably one of my favorite characters to go and play. And then I have this little tin that has some dice in it. Wild Shapes, which is not something that is done by D&D, but I found it online and I thought it was very helpful, especially as someone that's learning D&D and especially playing a druid. I really like having something physical to look at. And then I have this cute little dice bag with a squirrel on it. I really love squirrels, so I have that there. And then this cute little elephant trinket that one of my friends got me, actually my maid of honor. So I have that here. And then I have this dice box that says choose your weapon, and you open it up, and here are some of the dice that I have. All right, and then moving on to the next shelf, you will see that it is completely empty. I just couldn't find anything that fit that area and had to leave the shelf blank. So this will be something that will eventually get filled out as well. And then moving on to this next shelf, I had really wanted to do something that included BIPOC or some sort of representation. So this is kind of what I have come up with so far. I'm not 100% sure on it, but this is what we have. So I used a few trinkets as bookends. This one is something that my maid of honor also got me, and it says from the library of Rochelle Muir, and it's a book stamp. I honestly don't know if I will end up using it. I might just use it for maybe book journal stuff, but I'm not someone that really likes to write my books, so even doing something like this is something that I'm kind of uncomfortable with. And then I have the little candle that you would have seen in one of my previous videos. So putting that here. So with this as well, I wanted to keep some of my favorites as well as some that just made sense to keep together over here, because I did put a lot of the books that originally I had placed together on my other bookshelf, but I really wanted to have them here because I do plan on doing a lot of filming in front of this bookcase, and it didn't feel right to not include them. This side I have Bound. And this one is actually a book that I read when I was in middle school, I believe. And it was something that really stuck with me, and I decided to get my own physical copy. And then you'll see Octavia E. Butler, Kindred, Dragonfruit by Makia Lucier, Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen, Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow, Girl of Flesh and Metal by Alicia Ellis, and then I have Clash of Flesh and Metal, and then War of Flesh and Metal, Celia by Ivelisse Hausman, and I've heard that this has autism representation. I haven't read it yet, so I can't exactly confirm, but that is what I've heard. Where Shadows Lie by Allegra Pescatore, Surviving Daybreak by Kendra Merritt. I actually got this one from the Denver version of Comic-Con, and I got to meet the author as well. And then By Winged Chair by Kendra Merritt, and this one is a part of a series where it's retellings of popular stories, but with disability representation. Then Something More by Jackie Kalile, Give Me a Sign by Anna Sorrentino, Where You See Yourself by Claire Forrest, A Time to Dance by Padma Venkatraman, Next to You by Dulcie Dermern, Always Only You by Chloe Leese, Last Call at the Local by Sarah Grunder Ruiz, and then Get a Life Chloe Brown, Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute, Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. I guess I should show this. So here are all my copies of Out on a Limb. And this one was one that I was able to get from Pango, and I was really excited about it because this one was actually released before I actually read the series. And then this is the indie version, and this is the recently published version that also has an extra chapter from Beau's point of view. And I have not read it yet, but I can't wait to reread this book and experience it again in all its entirety. I'm also not going to pull out every single book. I'll pull out a few here and there, but I don't want to make this video too long. And then I have Next of Kin by Hannah Bonham Young, Next to You, and then Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Mansala, Homicide and Halo Halo by Mia P. Mansala. I haven't read that series yet, but I'm very excited to do so. I feel like I'm probably going to read it more like on a snowy day or something. Moving down to the next shelf, as you can see, it's not fully completed. So this shelf, I was kind of thinking I wanted to do a lot of my witchy books together. Something about that felt right, and sometimes, you know, you're just in a mood for something cozy and witchy, and I felt like having these all together would just make it a lot easier to find those. So over here I have a little mushroom decoration and then a few boxes from different lines of mythology candles. Those are some of the candles that I really love. They're very nerdy and the smells actually don't mess with my headaches at all, which is really nice. Starting from left to right, I have In the Company of Witches by Aura Lee Wallace, A Sprinkling of Murder by Daryl Wood Gerber, The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin, Wicked Like a Wildfire, and then I have Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. I still really love the cover of this book. It's probably one of my and then In the Shadow Garden by Liz Parker, The Wild Ones by Nafisa Azad. Still love the cover of this one as well. Okay, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Brianne Randall, Witchful Thinking by Celestine Martin, A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating by Sarah Hawley. Then I have Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman, Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman, and then The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. Then The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields, The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper, The Orphan Witch by Paige Crutcher, and then I also added The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, and then The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I didn't really know where to put them, so I just felt like adding them with like witchy magical things would make sense. All right, and then bringing you to the floor, this was also another area where I had no idea what to really go and do with it. And then also, unfortunately, my Critical Role books. Oh, well, this one isn't. Okay, that one I could stand up. I think this one, yeah, this one is too tall, so I'm gonna have to keep it down. But this is The Chronicles of Exandria, the Mighty Nine. So I have that book. And then Critical Role Vox Machina Origins. I have Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I'm not quite sure where I want to put this, so for now it's down here on the bottom shelf, but I'll probably move it so I can go and display it. And then Something is Killing the Children, The Mighty Nine Origins, Jester Lavore, Crumbs by Danny Sterling, Mayamu by Abby Balling. With these books, like I said, they're very random, but I also have a lot of disability kid books. I've been collecting them because at one point I thought I was going to be a counselor or a therapist, and I really wanted to have a variety of diverse reads on my shelf. But now I just collect them. Charles is an elementary school counselor, and one day we'd like to have kids, so I've just kind of been collecting the books now. So I have Not So Different by Shane Burkoff, Baking Up a Storm by Jessica Parham, Ray's First Day, it's the first story in the Capable series, and this is by Danny Jordan. Then Goldie's Tasty Tacos by Dr. Nicole Julia, and it's book 4 in the Able Fables. Then I have She Kept Dancing by Sydney Mesher, and it's a true story of a professional dancer with a limb difference. She has been a part of the Rockettes, I believe they're called. So she did do some of those Macy Day parades in the past, which was so cool. Then I have What Makes You Super by Fernanda Neves, Roxy and Malibu, It's Okay to Be Different by Hilary Sussman, The Abilities in Me, Limb Difference by Gemma Keir, Stand Tall, Molly Lou Mellon, written by Patty Lavelle. This is one of my all-time favorites, and I believe I've talked about this one kind of earlier on in my channel. Then I have Speak Up, Molly Lou Mellon, Have Fun, Molly Lou Mellon. And then I kind of have a few odds and ends for magazines that I put here too. Like I said, it's kind of random. So I have this Michelle Phan Success magazine, and then a few different magazines that my dad sent to me in the past, and they have a few disability stories in them. So I kept them here. And then I have a Psychology Today magazine as well. Okay, so then next shelf, and it's another tall shelf here. I have The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I don't think I'm saying that right. The Therapist by B.A. Paris. Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. You by Caroline Kepnes. The Hidden Bodies by Caroline Kepnes. You Love Me by Caroline Kepnes. The Wives by Taryn Fisher. Desperate Characters by Paula Fox. I honestly got that one because of the Netflix show of You. I thought it would be really funny to have that. The Hand That Feeds You by A.J. Rich. Dead Letters by Kate Dolan Leach. The Perfect Stranger by Megan Miranda. Stranger in the House by Shari Lapina. The Red Lotus, They Wish They Were Us by Jessica Goodman. 8 Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. The Dead Girl in 2A by Carter Wilson. Mr. Tender's Girls by Carter Wilson. And that one was so good. And I forgot to say, this is kind of a part of my thriller, detective-y, stalker type of shelf that kind of felt right when I was labeling it in my head. And then I have Where the Crawdads Sing by Delilah Owens. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And then The Marsh King's Daughter by Karen Dione. And the reason I put those two together, I know that Where the Crawdads Sing is maybe cozier, not necessarily a thriller, but I feel like that book really goes well with The Marsh King's Daughter. If you're looking for a book that's more thriller-like, it definitely shows a little bit more of a darker tone. And then I have Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough, 13 Minutes by Sarah Pinborough, Cross Her Heart by Sarah Pinborough, and then Her Darkest Nightmare by Brenda Novak, Hello Again by Brenda Novak, Face Off by Brenda Novak, Blind Spot by Brenda Novak, Baby Doll by Holly Overton, Bella Jewel 72 Hours, and then Bella Jewel The Watcher. Oh, now it's really, really close to me. Okay, then starting from left to right, this also kind of continues on with my thriller books, and some of these shelves, like, they make sense to me a little bit, but not fully, so I'll probably rearrange them. But I have Sally Hepworth, Darling Girls on this side, then The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth, The Younger Wife by Sally Hepworth, My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones, One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware, and then The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, Never Lie by Frida McFadden, Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle, A Mask of Flies by Matthew Lyons, A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham, The Girls Who Disappeared by Claire Douglas, Wicked Unseen by Gigi Griffiths, The Luminous Dead by Caitlin Starling. And as you can see, I kind of put titles that have yellow text or like similar text on the covers together. It just, again, was something that made sense to me. Into the Sublime by Kate A. Borman, You May Now Kill the Bride by R.L. Stein, Stranger Danger by Maren Stoffels, 5 Survive, Holly Jackson, That's Not My Name, Megan Lawley, You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose, The Quiet Tenant by Clemence McAllen, Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulick, Clown in a Cornfield, and this one is Adam Cesar, Harpin Bridge, Taylor Adams, Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead, Survivor's Song by Paul Tremblay, No Exit by Taylor Adams, Under the Surface by Diana Urban, Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier, The Naturals, this is the first one, by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver, Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. And then on the corner of this, I have this little trinket that I got from the Ren Fair, and I just think it's so cute. And yeah, as you can see, like, there's some rhyme and reason to my bookshelf, and then some of it doesn't make sense. And I'm noticing that going through this, I have a lot of the first books in the series, so I'm definitely gonna have to fix that soon. Then next up, we have probably one of my favorite shelves. I'd say this is a little bit more like creepy horror thriller type of stuff. So going from left to right, I have The Lake House by Sarah Beth Durst, How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, and I kind of wanted to put a lot of like the haunted house stuff together over here. The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas, Come Out by Natalie C. Parker, Don't Tell a Soul by Kristen Miller, The Haunting by Natasha Preston, The Haunted by Bentley Little, Little Girls by Ronald Malfi, Stay Awake by Megan Golden, All Hallows by Christopher Golden, The Spite House by Johnny Compton, A Haunting in the Hill by Elizabeth Hand, Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Really love how creepy this one looks. And then The Manor House by Jilly McMillan, We Used to Live Here by Marcus Cleaver, The Killer and Me by Margot Harrison, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And like with here, I kind of wanted a lot of the covers that were white to kind of be together. Something about it just was really appealing and pleasant to the eyes for me, because I didn't really want to do too much color coding, but I also did want to include my Darcy Coates books together, and it just made sense here. But yeah, Good Girls Don't Die by Christina Henry, Knock Knock Open Wild by Neil Sharpson, Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Feeney, Five Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards, Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates, Where You Can't Find You by Darcy Coates, Carrow Haunt by Darcy Coates, Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates, Silence in the Shadows by Darcy Coates, Whispers in the Mist by Darcy Coates, and then Secrets in the Dark by Darcy Coates. And this is probably like one of the few series that I actually have completed. So I do have a full series in a few areas. Okay, then next up I have a lot of my more like BIPOC horror books or thriller books. I felt like it would be really good to include them all together. So that's why I didn't really have them in my representation area, because it just didn't make sense, and I wanted to still include these all together but kind of keep them flowing with books that were similar to them. So I have Chlorine by Jade Song, There's No Way I Die First by Lisa Springer, The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson, The Dark Place by Brittany S. Lewis, She Is a Haunting by Tong Ton Tran, I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast Is Me by Jameson Shea. Oh, and that's apparently an autographed copy. I believe I got this one from Book Outlet. Together We Rot by Skyla Ardent, Immortal Dark by Tigist Girma, Bone Witch by Rin Chupico, The Girl from the Well by Rin Chupico, The Sacrifice by Rin Chupico, Delicious Monsters by Lizelle Sambury, Tender Beasts by Lizelle Sambury, Monstrous by Jessica Lewis, and I have cat hair on it, White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson, and actually I think I'm gonna move it down here because I think I have another one of her books, so I'll put it over there. This Poison Heart by Kaylin Byron, It Waits in the Forest by Sarah Das, Lore of the Wilds by Annalise Sabrana, Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy I. Lin, The Poisons We Drink by Bethany Baptiste, A Drop of Venom by Sanjini Patel, and then Legendborn by Tracy Dion. Then the next shelf is one that I still have in progress as well, and that I will probably change. But for now, I kind of have a grouping of my Phantom of the Opera books and Phantom of the Opera retellings, and then a mixture of fantasy or like darker fantasy books, things along those lines. Like I said, some of these shelves I'll have to rearrange, but for now, this kind of works. Oh, and I forgot to say, on the other shelf with all my BIPOC books, I have Good Morning Beautiful. This little mug that has a lot of pencils and art supplies. So I have down here The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux, and I have 3 different editions of it. Then I have Phantom by Greer Rivers, Music of the Night by Angela J. Ford, and she is the BIPOC author, but I wanted to keep all my Phantom books together. Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis, The Musician and the Monster by Megan Van Dyke, Phantom Heart by Kelly Cree, Roseblood by A.G. Howard, Circe by Madeline Miller, Lore by Alexandra Bracken, Slewfoot by Brahm, and then I have this cute little ghosty guy here. And then I have 2 different versions of The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland, House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland, The Awakening by Rachel Renner, Girl Who Talks to Ashes by Rachel Renner, and then The Boy Who Lurks in Shadows by Rachel Renner, The Last Refuge, Vivid by Ashley Bustamante, The Buried and the Bound by Rochelle Hassan, Flower Heart by Catherine Bakewell, Small Favors by Erin A. Craig, and then these I just kind of grouped together because I don't know why. So I have Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry, Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, and then Sin Eater by Megan Kempe. And then next shelf actually is a mixture of things as well. So it has my comic books, and then it also goes into a lot of my other books. Some of them are ones that I read when I was younger, or mermaidy books. So this one is definitely a mixture as well, and one that I will have to rearrange later. So starting from the left, I have The Joker, and then Suicide Squad, Joker and Harley, Criminal Sanity, Harleen, and I love the artwork in this one. It's just really good. And I can go more in depth in these when I eventually do my comic book series. Or not comic book series, my comic book video. Harley Quinn Volume 4, A Call to Arms. And then I have a bunch of different comics that are also Harley Quinn. I think I have this one already, but I really wanted it because it had Poison Ivy on it. If you don't know, I love Poison Ivy. And then Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. Suicide Squad, another Suicide Squad, and then another Harley Quinn. Some of these I also got when I went on trips and I felt like it would be a really fun souvenir. So then I have Gotham City Sirens Strange Fruit, Gotham City Sirens Book 2, Harley and Ivy, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, Poison Ivy The Virtuous Cycle, and then Poison Ivy Unethical Consumption. Then I have Poison Ivy, Circle of Life and Death, Batman Arkham, Poison Ivy, and then I have Batman and Poison Ivy Cast Shadows. This one I'm not as fond of with the artwork and everything. I don't like how dark it is, but I still have it because Poison Ivy. And then I have Poison Ivy Thorns. This one is a little bit more of a backstory into her life and what things were like before she really came into her powers. Then I have Harley Quinn, The Joker's Last Laugh. This is Volume 5. Harley Quinn and Batman, or Batman Harley Quinn. Batman Volume 4, The War of Jokes and Riddles. Then I have Joker, One Operation Joker Volume 1. This is a manga, so it is not with my manga shelf. And then DC Comics Harley Quinn Wildcard. And then Harley Quinn Reckoning by Rachel Allen. Then I have the Margaretville Vampire series down here. This is one that I read when I was younger. So I have Glass Houses, which is the first book by Rachel Kane, The Dead Girls Dance, Midnight Alley, Feast of Fools, Lord of Misrule, and Carpe Corpus. I don't have the entire series, so I definitely want to try to get the rest of them. But hopefully I can find them so they're all the same height, because that is something that is definitely kind of bothering me now that I'm going through all of my books. Like, I don't like how they're all different sizes. Before it didn't bother me, but now that this is kind of my dream library in a way, it is bothering me. So then I have Trust of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I could have probably put it next to Mistborn, but I don't know. Something about it was like, I need to have it with my mermaidy ocean ones. So then I have Under the Surface by Sonia Blake, Blue Reflections by Amanda Casey, Siren by Trisha Rayburn, and then Undercurrent, which is a part of the Siren series, and Dark Water, a part of the series as well by Trisha Rayburn. And then I have Wake, Lullaby, Title, and Elegy by Amanda Hawking. And then over here I have the Fablehaven series, and I just need one more book and then I'll have all of them and the LitJoy editions of it. And I'm very excited to finally get to reread all of those. And then I think just because we're on the floor, we're gonna go with this bottom shelf that's over in the corner. Just because I'm lazy and I've had to like move my shelf, or not my shelf, my tripod up and down. So over in this corner, I have Alice's Adventures in Wonderland Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. And then I have Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. Hopefully I'm saying that right, but I thought the cover of this one was super pretty. And with this shelf, it's kind of like the ones that I read when I was younger, or more like middle grade type of areas. So that's kind of what I have down here. And then I have Reflection, A Twisted Tale by Elizabeth Lim, and then The Last of the Really Great Wang Doodles by Julie Andrews Edwards. Loved this book so much as a kid, and you can tell it's definitely been a little bit more well read, because this was one that I had when I was younger. And then I have books 1 through 9 of the Avalon Web of Magic series. I'm trying to get all these books and get their original covers, so it's kind of been a work in progress, because this series ended like earlier in the 2000s, and I'm just now trying to get the rest of the books. So it's been a little bit of a process, especially finding ones that aren't half eaten by a dog. Talking to you, thrift books. So yeah, I have those ones, and then I have Avalon The Warlock Diaries. It's the manga omnibus, and so it's tied in with this. Then I have Gamer Girl by Mari Mancusi, and this was one that I really adored when I was younger in school, especially being a gamer girl myself. And then I have the books in the Among the Hidden series by Margaret Peter Haddix. This is one that I really loved when I was younger as well, and I think I didn't read like the last 2 books, so I do want to revisit the series. And then I have Coraline by Neil Gaiman, and then these books are some that I treasure because my grandma and I read them a lot together. So I have The Adventures of Danny Meadowmouse by Thornton W. Burgess, The Adventures of Chatter the Red Squirrel, The Adventures of Bobby Raccoon, The Adventures of Grandfather Frog, and Old Mother West Wind. These are ones that my grandma and I read together all the time when I was visiting at her house, and they're just a lot of really precious memories that I hold dear. And then I was also very much a horse girl growing up, so I wanted to get the Phantom Stallion books, and I'm so upset at myself because I had them all, and I must have sold them when I was going into college, and I regret it very much because I had them in excellent condition. But I was able to get these books again through thrift books, and they actually were in decent quality. But I'm going to have to find a different way to get the other books. But I have 1 through 15 of the Phantom Stallion books. I'm not going to go through them all. I have a few of my kid books. I have more of them at my parents' house, and one day I will get them and bring them all here. But I have Black Beauty by Anna Sewell, and then the Macduff Stories by Rosemary Wells. This is one of my favorite childhood books. It was so cute. And then I have Reindeer in Here, A Christmas Friend. This one I saw through the Macy Day Parade, and I was talking about a little reindeer with a horn that wasn't fully grown, and it was a little bit of a disability story, so got this one. Then I have this Taylor Swift Time magazine. And last kid book that is over here is The Children's Book of Virtues by William J. Bennett. This one just had a lot of really good life lessons for kiddos, and Charles asked me to bring this back to show his kids at his school, and I just haven't done so. Then next bookshelf is this one. It's still going into fantasy and everything. So I have The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken, First Fall by Lyndall Clipstone, Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match by Sally Thorne, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen, Curse of the Thorn King by Lisette Marshall, The Thorns Remain by Gia Harwood, A Cursed Kiss by Jenny Hickman, The Pirate King's Thief, Frozen Hearts and Death Magic, Book 1 by Day Latau, and then Iron Hearts and Dragon Magic, Book 2 by Day Latau, and then The Stars Are Dying, and I'm not going to try to pronounce that name again because I butchered it so bad last time. Then Your Blood, My Bones by Kelly Andrew, The Book Jumper by Metchield Glacier, Garden of the Cursed by Katie Rose Poole, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Armentrout, All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace, Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon McGuire, The Shadow and the Glass, Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, For the Wolf by Hannah Witten, Between Mischief and Magic by Marissa Serrao, Wicked Cruel Things by Emma Lynn Ellis, The Gale by Lo Mayer, and then Elegy of Twilight by Angela J. Ford. Alright, and then the next bookshelf is another one of my fantasy ones. So this one, I kind of have somewhat similar themes in a way. I don't know. This might be another shelf that I have to organize again at a different point, but I have A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen, A Tempest of Tea, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, The Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Lind, Heartless by Marissa Meyer, Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli, Powerless by Lauren Roberts, A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair, Song of Wraith and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown, One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemison, The Solstice Court by J. Juniper, The Deathbringer by A.M. Eno, Godkiller by Hannah Kaner, A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, Curious Tides by Pascal Lascelles, The Girl with No Reflection by Keshi Chow, Threads That Bind by Kika Hatsupolu, Her Dark Wings by Melinda Salisbury, and then I also have like this little Winx Club deck of cards. I was a huge Wings Club girl growing up, although we didn't get all the seasons in the US, especially where I lived out in the country. The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. And then last one on the shelf is The Darkness Within Us by Tricia Levenseller. All right, and then this next shelf is probably one of my favorites. It has a lot of my dystopian and apocalyptic books. So I have Poison Princess by Cressley Cole, then Endless Night by Cressley Cole, Dead of Winter, Day Zero, Arcana Rising, The Dark Calling, and From the Grave by Cressley Cole. Then I have All of Us Are Villains, Shatter Me, Unravel Me, Ignite Me, and Unite Me by Tara Maffey. Gone Dark by Amanda Panich. The Stranded by Sarah Daniel. Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. Betrothed to the Zombie King by Gentry L. Burke. Plague Town by Danny Fredsty. The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. Eat Your Heart Out by Kelly DeVos. The Z Word by Lindsay King Miller. And then, of course, since I have zombies in this area, I had to have my little Funko Pop Daryl Dixon. And then I have Broken, Lost, Found, Safe, and Haven by Imogen Keeper. Scythe by Neil Schusterman. The Chaperone by M. Hendricks. The Gracier by Kim Liggett. Snow Globe by Soo-Young Park. And then Into the Mist by PC Cast. Then I guess the next bookshelf is kind of the viral books. So I have the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I haven't read them yet, and I don't have them in order, so they're kind of still in the plastic for the book. So then I have the ACOTAR series, so Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, A Court of Frost and Starlight, and then A Court of Silver Flames. I also have my little wand that I got here. I got it from Etsy, and I didn't really know where else to put it. So I put it up here, especially since it's out of Nugget's way. Then I have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Then The Coven by Harper L. Woods. Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. And I just realized I have them out of order, so sorry about that. And then I have Belladonna, Foxglove, and Wisteria by Adeline Grace. So this bunny over here is something that belonged to Charles's granddad, and Charles gave this to me after he passed, so I decided to put it on this bookshelf. And it probably would work better if I had the UK covers of the Belladonna and all those other books. Okay, and then last shelf that is over here is a lot of the books that I read when I was younger, middle school, high school type of thing. So then I have Dark Visions by L.J. Smith, The Forbidden Game by L.J. Smith, and then Marked, Betrayed, Chosen, Untamed, Hunted, Tempted, Burned, and Awakened by P.C. Cass and Kristen Crast. Then I have Goddess of Spring, or Goddess of the Sea, Goddess of Spring, Goddess of Light, Goddess of the Rose, Goddess of Love, Warrior Rising, Goddess of Legend by PC Cast. And then I have the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. So I have Vampire Academy, Frostbite, Shadow Kiss, Blood Promise, Spirit Bound, and Last Sacrifice. And then on the far end, I have my other book series that I really loved when I was younger. And I can't get over there. So I have Dealing with Dragons, Searching for Dragons, Calling on Dragons, and Talking to Dragons. And it's a series that I really, really loved when I was younger. I have so much respect for booktubers that do a whole library tour, because holy crap, this is definitely hard, and we're not even done yet, and I'm running out of light. So we're gonna go through the next set of books. This next shelf over here is a lot of my romance books and other ones that I just was like, I don't really know how to fit them in with my other bookshelf, so I decided to put them here. So I have Bridgerton, The Viscount Who Loved Me, An Offer from a Gentleman, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, To Sir Philip with Love, When He Was Wicked, It's in His Kiss, and On the Way to the Wedding. These are the Bridgerton books by Julia Quinn. And then I have Venetia by Georgette Heyer, Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery, The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Then I have The Help by Catherine Stockett, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, Little Women by Louise May Alcott, and then I have another Pride and Prejudice. I need to rearrange those. And then I have this series, which I don't think I have in the right order either, but these are some books by Yasmin Gale-Norn, and it's an Indigo court novel. These are books that I was into when I was younger, but they're very spicy, so I don't know when I will revisit them. Then I have From Notting Hill with Love Actually by Ali McNamara, and I feel like I'm gonna reread this one again because it was really cute and also a huge tearjerker for me from what I remember. Then I have Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren, Sweet Tea by Piper Hewley, After You by Jojo Moyes, The Choice, Safe Haven, The Guardian, The Rescue, all by Nicholas Sparks, and then The Martian by Andy Weir. I know that one doesn't fit here, but that's where I have it. Next shelf is more of my romance that isn't really like certain time period or anything like that. So I have, and some of the text is so tiny, My Lady's Choosing by Kitty Curran and Larissa Zagreus, and this is like an interactive romance novel. I've only ever played video games that were like this, so I was very intrigued. Then I fell in love with Hope by Lynn Colley, American Batia, Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan, Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, Well Met by Jen DeLuca, Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce, Ruby Spencer's Whiskey Year by Rochelle Bigelow, Ready or Not by Cara Baston, Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison, Savor It by Tara Dewitt, Till There Was You by Lindsay Hammeroff, The Stand-In by Lily Chu, Love Chai and Other Four-Letter Words by Annika Sharma, Maya's Laws of Love by Alina Kawaja, Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan, Clementine and Danny Save the World and Each Other by Livia Blackburn, Love and Resistance by Kara H.L. Chen, Manila Takes Manhattan by Carla de Guzman, Upon Me for Two by Trinity Nguyen, The Love Story by Lone Lee, My Sister's Big Fat Indian Wedding by Sanjini Patel, Imogen, obviously, by Becky Albertelli, and then Dear Medusa by Olivia A. Cole. And then next I kind of have my manga, poetry, and then like self-help books, just kind of a weird mixture. So I Hear the Sunspot, Call Me Can't Communicate, A Perfect World. I have not finished the series yet, but I love it so much. And I don't have all the books yet, I don't think, but yeah, that's what we have so far. A Sign of Affection. This one is super cute. And I have books 1 through 5. Pembroke by Brie Linehan. You might recognize the name from her Instagram. Then I have Laura Olympus, The Cottage Fairy Companion by Paola Merrill, Catcher by Kaylin Nicholson. You might also recognize her from YouTube. I'm So Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, and then Rural Diaries by Hilary Burton Morgan, and then Grimoire Girl by Hilary Burton Morgan. Beautiful Mind, A Beautiful Life, The Bub's Guide to Being Unstoppable by Lindsay Song. And then I have a few books from a past bachelorette, but so I have It's Not Okay and Single State of Mind by Andy Dorfman, and then Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, and then a few fun different books that you'll see here. Don't really think that I'll go through them, but Men and Cats. One of my friends got this for me. Then I have Tiny Beautiful Things, Advice on Love and Life from Dear Sugar, Cheryl Strayed, 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. I was really into self-help books and a lot of those things way back when, so these aren't really things that I plan on gravitating for, so I kind of have them over here because I don't know where else to put them. And then a few other self-help books. And then I have a lot of different poetry books. I also have these slam poetry books I picked up when I went to a slam poetry here in Colorado. This is probably one of my favorites. Alright, and then the very last bookshelf is more of my manga. So I have Blackbird, books 1, 2, 3, 4, Absolute Boyfriend, I only have one of those, and then Yurara, which I have 1 through 5, and then Rosetsu, 1 through 9, Nana, which is one of my favorites. That anime really wrecked me, and hopefully one day the story is finished. Hi, Finn. Finn. Phineas. Getting a behind the scenes. Also Cicero. And then I have Sailor Moon, books 1, 2, and 3. I also have this Marie Kondo book. And then I have Fruits Basket. Then I have the Harry Potter books by She Who Shall Not Be Named. We do not support people with those views. Do we, Kiko? So I wanted to give a little update on how my bookshelf looks. I've changed it since going and filming my videos, so I'm just gonna give a quick little sneak peek or a glimpse at how it is now with decorations and everything up. That is my bookshelf tour. This will be very, very fun to go and update, but so far I'm really enjoying my new library space and seeing all my books on the bookshelves. Like I said when I was doing the tour, I will need to go through and reorganize them, but for now this works. I think I'm content because I can see all my books, and I can't wait to continue filling up my library and showing you the books that I add and future book hauls. As always, I want you to remember that you're worthy and capable of amazing things. I love you all. Bye.
Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows in the